సుస్వాగతం వెబ్ రేడియో యూనికామ్. ఇది చాలా హాట్ గురు.
Okay, man. So here we are with Bala for the second episode of our podcast, the interview about India. And this was what language, man?
This was my regional language called Telugu. Well, to be honest, like in India, there are 780 languages.
780.
780.
Man, this is crazy. I mean, how many regions there are?
Actually, there are like 29 regions.
29?
Yeah.
With just 800 languages, more or less. I mean,
almost. Like also with the different accents. Like, I don't know like how to tell you like different slangs, like different different
dialects.
Dialects, exactly. Different dialects. And one for mine is like officially there are like 21 regions.
Okay.
21 languages.
Okay.
And which are widely spoken around India. But 780 and more than that like are like the languages which are spoken in India.
This is a huge number. And well, I was informing myself a little bit. I read something, and in India we all know that the official languages are Hindi and English.
Yeah.
But you know that already, only considering the widely spoken languages, there are at least 21.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested in how much different they are from each other. Like, is it similar to the Italian situation where you have different dialects, different declinations of the same root language, or they are completely different?
Well, coming to the southern languages, like Sanskrit is the mother of all the southern languages. Like one language is interlinked with the other languages. For example, if coming to the south of India, like the southern states are completely similar.
Okay.
You're gonna learn each and every language in like one language I can learn in 3 months, and another language in 6 months.
Okay.
It's very fast. And to be honest, can I tell you a secret?
Yeah, of course.
India has no national language.
Really?
Yeah. Hindi is not the national language actually.
So wait, I mean, I read on the internet that like from a, let's say, bureaucratic point of view.
Yeah, like they just gonna just like few North Indian people like they just wanna announce it like India must be the North Indian language.
Okay.
But most of the people in other regions of India, they don't disagree with this because there are languages which are like 2000 years old form and which are widely spoken there. And they just can't bring Hindi, which is like a lateral form, and put as the national language of India.
So this was like, let's say, an attempt to impose the dominancy of the northern part of India through the language.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. And so what's the oldest language that exists in India?
Actually, there is a language called Tamil, which is one of the oldest languages, and it is also spread to the eastern part of Asia, like central eastern part of Asia, through Malaysia, Singapore. This part of like Vietnam, also there nearby islands are spoken these languages.
This is interesting. And well, this makes me think because, for example, here in Italy, I don't know if you know, but in high schools, some kinds of high schools teach to the students how the Latin language worked. Sometimes the Greek language as well, the ancient Greek, because of course they are the roots from which all the European languages arose, essentially. So I'm interested, what do you study in high school when you focus on the language aspect?
I study in English. Like
you study in English?
Yeah, because of the Britishers when come to India, like
of course they brought the English language.
And English is widely spread in India.
Okay, so the school system works in English.
Yeah.
In all India.
Exactly. Like it also depends. Like if you go to the regional areas of India, they're gonna choose like if you want to study in English or else like you do, or like the regional language medium, and depending upon the choice of the regional people.
Okay. And what if you were to study? Do you have let's say the opportunity to study ancient languages?
Well, when I was studying my secondary school, I have an opportunity to study Sanskrit language.
Sanskrit. Wow.
Yeah. It's one of the oldest languages in the whole world.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I guess Sanskrit is the language from which Hebrew also was born. Like, I mean, and also, I don't know, but here in Europe, in general, in the Western side of the world, we all have this feeling about Sanskrit, like being some kind of magical language, you know, because it's so cryptic, so elegant also.
Yeah.
Are you able to say something in Sanskrit?
Well, currently, I can read the letters, but I cannot speak it.
Okay.
That's the only problem. Like, I can understand the letter, like the words and everything, but if there is a word or sentence,
for me,
like
it's the same. I mean, I cannot speak Latin, of course. I just know that it exists, more or less.
Yeah.
All right, this was very interesting. A little insight on the school system. We will. We can focus on that actually. So we were mentioning in the first episode that you had some issues regarding your master degree because of your age.
Yeah.
Because right now you are only 20 and you're already completing your bachelor degree.
Yeah.
And this is because you finished your high school in India at 16 years old. So I mean, I'm very interesting. How is it possible to complete your school's, your educational system, educational cycle in so much less time than, for example, here?
Well, to be honest, like I skipped some of my classes. Like when you're studying from kindergarten, like, the next classes, I skipped one of the classes and then bunch of classes.
Because it is possible in India to skip classes.
I mean, depending upon the school you study, like if you just take a permission, like in days, like you can just go.
Because you were particularly good at school, I guess.
I was just good at during my childhood times, and when I was like growing up, like it was like too much pressure of math, physics, chemistry, and like biological sciences and everything, and yeah.
So I'm very interesting. So you mentioned kindergarten, so I guess that for the childhood, it's more or less the same for everyone. But then how is it? Let's say. Organized the whole school system. What are the steps you have to undergo to reach the end?
Like you have to study like your kindergarten, and then after first standard to 10th standard, like there are 10 classes, like until you reach 15 years, you finish your 10th standard.
Okay.
After that, you go to the secondary school, like you turn 17 there, like for 2 years, secondary school. And then after 17, you're going to be like 18 when you're joining your bachelor's period.
Okay.
That's the starting point for your bachelor's.
So, are those schools like specialized? Like, for example, I guess that until the 10th standard, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10th standard is more or less general, the approach, and it's the same for everyone.
Exactly. Okay. For everyone, they need to study 10th, and after getting the main 10th schooling certificate,
you can go the secondary school. And there,
the 2 years are very important.
And do you have the chance to like focus on some topics during the secondary school, or still it is the same for everyone?
It's actually you can focus on whatever you choose, whatever the field you choose. Like for example, in India there are like two kinds of systems, like also like 4-5 branches, naming like MPC. Like M is for math, P for physics, and C for chemistry. And there is BIPC, which is like biological sciences, physics, chemistry, and like CEC is like chemistry, economics, and civics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are different types of choices you can make. This is interesting.
So one, if you want to study, who want to go to work in the bank, they're gonna study commerce, and the other one, commerce and civil branch, and the other one, like who want to go into become a doctor or like biotechnologist or like something into the science field, they're gonna take BIPC.
Yeah, of course.
And if you want to become an engineer. Especially like this is where it becomes interesting. Like most of every year India produce a lot of engineers, a lot, and especially if you're gonna choose MPC, they're not gonna choose like bachelors of any other degree.
Okay.
If you're taking maths, physics, chemistry, they just focus on taking engineering. Either it may be like informatics, like mechanical, civil, whatever the engineering is, they just go into the engineering field.
But I guess this is actually a symptom of the growth rate of India. as we were mentioning in the first episode, India is right now topping all the possible scales and ranks for what regards economical growth. And I guess the fact that so many people want to become engineers is a symptom of actually lots of work to be done, you know?
Yeah,
so I guess this is a very, very positive aspect. So we were talking about scholar systems in India, and so we discovered that you have 10 years essentially of elementary school, what we would call the elementary and primary school together, and then the secondary school, in which you can focus on different subjects depending on what you're gonna study later.
Exactly.
And we were mentioning that many people study engineer at university.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. And I'm interested now about something more personal that refers to you, which is, why did you choose to study geology, and why did you decide to study it in Italy, for example?
That's a very good question. Like, to be honest, like in India, like my mom was telling me, like, you know, everyone is started, like, you know, the cycle is going on, like, you know, you study secondary school, do engineering, get a job, and, like, you know, lead your life. That's it. That's a big circle which is going around you. And, like, I just want to change it. Like, for example, in my case, I just want to do something different in my life. I want to experience something new. And I choose Italy because, like, I have, like, my uncle and aunt doing their postdoc here in Camerino. And now they are not here. They left to US. But now me and my cousin were studied here. And I have their support here to study. So that's the reason. That's the main reason to come Camerino.
You had parents already here, and so you decided to move out of the constant cycle of.
Exactly.
Okay. This is very interesting, and this is very brave. I mean, you left India at 16 years old, and it's been 4 years that you live alone here in Camerino.
Yeah.
So I mean, chapeau, as we would say in France. Really, really impressive. So, let's continue talking about India in general as a country. Again, because the mission of this podcast is also to provide informations that are difficult to find online, you know, because more or less everyone is capable of looking on the internet and say, okay, India works like this, works like that, but actually you never get
the true vibe.
The true vibe, exactly, the true vibe.
Like, to be honest, like what you see on the internet and what you experience are the two different things.
Yeah.
So here is one of the incidents which happened to me. Like, I was in Prague for my Erasmus just a few months ago, and I met a Brazilian girl. She went India 2021. She went like after coming me to Europe, she went, and she told me, like, you know, Bala, trust me, what I have seen in Instagram and whatever I hear about your country, like social networking, it's the biggest lie. And what I experienced with the true and good people, it was like I cannot forget, like, in my whole life. And when she told me this, like, I felt very happy inside. Like, you know, she was telling me, and she was also explaining these things, like she visited one of the best places in northern India. She went to the river Ganges. Ganga, we say. And like, she just came to know what's the culture and what the food they eat, the local people, and what's the sweets and everything.
So she was impressed for how more positive it was than what she expected.
Exactly. There will be some incidents which are negative from the people, because they might get very excited from the rural people, because they might be the first time seeing a foreign man in their homeland or something.
Of course.
They get excited. They're gonna be touching him, like, you know, as they see some as a god or something, like, you know, as a new animal coming to them. Sorry for that, but, like, you know, that's how they feel excited.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I guess it was the same in Camerino community when the university started to gather international students. I guess it was a big change for people from the local areas. So this is very interesting, and also the different cultures that, as you were mentioning, like here we would never think about go and touch a stranger, but maybe in India or some regions in India it can be, maybe it's actually a way to pay respect in a way. So this is a very interesting aspect.
Most of them will be like welcoming, welcoming home, enjoying the tradition and everything. So yesterday I have seen a YouTube video recommended one of my friend. Like a guy traveled in India without zero currency, from one part of India to other part of India, and it takes like 4 days to travel this foreign guy to one part of India to other part.
Only 4?
Yeah, 4 days. And it's just by trains, and he got out at some point. He has no food, no water. And the local people help him, giving him some bananas, some fruits. And
so people are very kind. And
yeah, exactly. And
open-minded.
Exactly.
This is interesting. So I'm interested now. So you mentioned this Brazilian girl, but now you have been knowing the Italian way of life for a long time by now. So the question is, if I were to, as an Italian, let's say average person in Italy, would have to be in India right now, what is the strangest thing I could experience?
Strangest thing, maybe with the tuk-tuk. Do you know tuk-tuk? Like the 3-wheeler auto, we say rickshaw.
Okay.
It's a share auto. It's like a taxi.
Okay.
3-wheeler taxi. And these people, these guys, they're gonna just rob you money. They just, if you go from one destination to other destination, if you just want to go in low price, they're gonna increase the price. That's how I mean rob. So if you just by looking at you, oh, this guy is a foreigner, he doesn't know about local things, we're gonna ask him more money, he has more money.
Well, I think actually this is something very general to every country, more or less. But yeah, this is, maybe we'll talk about that also later. Right now I have a more serious question. Let's see.
Yeah.
Serious. Of course, it's always a chat, chilly chat, but just to know better, because again, I read something on the internet, and also I don't know if you know that after our interview is over, we will have probably with Nino, let's hope, a focus on the geography and the history of India. So let's say to have for the average listeners that listens to all the episodes about India, to have a good insight both on the, let's say, didactical point of view, so history and geography in general, and then with all your insights and interesting facts.
Perfect.
So this is though one of those aspects that are most difficult to find out about, because it's a bit not trivial to consider on the internet, and it is the environmental management in India. So today, of course, it's one of the main topics for everyone everywhere in the world, and we know that India is growing so fast. So I'm curious about how what is the environmental policy in India?
Well, coming to the environmental policy, we started a mission called Swachh Bharat, cleaning the roads and gathering the waste, not to throw the waste things on the roads or somewhere. We are keeping the city clean. And previous years, there was a city called Noida, one of the cleanliest city in whole India. And there is some policies which they implied to each and every city, they just formed by their own government.
Okay.
For example, in my government, if you're gonna put the trash